years either.
Is that right? Yeah, I haven't seen your beacon for quite some time. These roads are so beautiful in here. Does this remind you of a walk in the park?
Kind of does.
So lush. What a beautiful day. Weather conditions are perfect. The trail is fantastic.
Oh, I gotcha.
I see you now too. You just restarted?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
That was quite the treat meeting those groups.
You know, it's pretty incredible that you don't meet anybody hardly at all, right?
Right.
Then we met two all together.
Yep.
Two groups, I should say. I love that little 70.
That was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that's incredible taking that on the ride. That is classic.
It is very classic. That's what I told them. That is so sentimental that it's just, I can understand why he's doing it.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. And he's making good progress. He said they're averaging 20 miles an hour.
Yep. It's not bad at all. Yeah, Cricket on that, she was riding a brand new 300L.
I saw that.
Yep, she had a brand new one. And she got the larger gas tank put on it. She said she could go 235 miles and still have gas in the tank. She bought a lowering kit for it. She sent it back, and now she wishes she probably had kept it.
Oh, she decided not to put it on.
Yeah, she got a lower seat. She bought it with the lower seat. But she's already noticed she hasn't touched anything else on the bike. And she notices that in the sand, she goes, I don't like it in the sand. She goes, the suspension is so soft. She goes, it kind of does a little pogoing through the sand. And she says, it just doesn't give me a lot of confidence like her Beta did.
Yeah, that was a sad story about her Beta.
Yeah, what all happened with that?
There was multiple oil changes. I think you said 5th or 6th oil change. The shop forgot to put the oil in. And 300 miles later, she burned up her engine. And I said, really, that surprises me. You can actually run that far without the oil. They said, well, yeah, they can do that with just the residual oil. They will get some duration of time. But yeah, so it's getting rebuilt now. So she had to buy this one for the trip.
I know one thing, I will have to admit, this bike, after what I did to the suspension, sand, I don't have any problems with it anywhere. It just really gives me a lot of confidence. Sometimes too much.
After 30 plus days on the trail with this KTM EXC-F 350, I would sum up the experience with one word, and that is superb. The bike has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure I can be happy with other bikes as well, but I do love this one. The only thing I really did from factory is based on Mike's suggestion over at Moskomoto. Great set of advice there. He used a lot of research from his wealth of knowledge to consider how I wanted to build this bike, but I did take off the vapor recovery system, as I did have some early issues with after tip over. It was hard starting, and the points of failure that Mike pointed out, I wanted to get rid of those. I desmogged, and I did uncork it a little bit. We replaced the stock engine control unit with a Getty ECU and put a new end cap on the stock exhaust. But other than that, it's all running stock. And it's performed very well. Plenty of power. Never once, not ever, have I ever thought, hey, I need more power. every time I've grabbed the throttle in any circumstance, the bike has always had more available. I have yet to harness all the ponies this thing delivers. So it's never been a question of power. And that includes times on the highway. We run 60, 65. We've had uphill conditions. We've had 50-mile-an-hour headwinds. I've always been able to handle all of that at the speed I want to go in 6th gear. As far as the trail, again, never once have I wanted more power. Never ever have I wanted more weight, which is essentially why I bought this particular bike. I had looked to buy the 300L that Jack is riding. Great bike, would have been very happy with that as well. But when I learned that this one was over 60 pounds lighter, that got my attention. You know, geezer, less to pick up, it's good. And I like the fact this one really comes more from a dirt bike heritage. This is a dirt bike coming to dual sport. It has all those characteristics which I love, and that's the type of riding I prefer doing. So, great bike. So beyond those two modifications regarding the performance of the bike, the rest has just been dealing with mods for range, comfort, and trail hardening, as well as ways to provide power to our electronics. So, great bike. So happy I have it. So happy that it's performed so well. It's never give a moment's concern. Great choice. Thanks to Mike and Takamoto. The gang there is terrific. Couldn't have done it without them. That's where the knowledge comes from. Talked to a lot of people on the trail. In fact, the ones we just met here recently, same thing. Can't say enough good news about what's happening over at Takamoto. Really appreciate what you've done for us. So when I get back from the trip, I intend to answer for myself some of the questions that surround this particular class of bike regarding service intervals, specifically oil changes. So I'm looking for some quantifiable information, and the way what I'm intending to do is to take it back to the dealership where I bought the bike and have them go through the engine and inspect it for signs of wear. I would really like to know what the condition is post-trip. So I've been changing my oil about every 1,200 to 1,300 miles, somewhat as an experiment. And an experiment is not complete until you measure the end result. And so I'll be doing that once we get back from the trip. So Jack, what are your thoughts as we're getting close to the end of the trail?
Well, you've noticed I've slowed down. I'm just kind of taking it all in. It's hard to believe that after all this time that we've done it, or that we're doing it, and you know, it's bittersweet. It'll be nice to get home, get to meet the new dog, you know, be with my wife. Just things about, you know, having your home and knowing that it's fall, and now you can devote all your time back to those things. But on the other hand, it's going to be a little bittersweet.
I feel the same way. I miss friends and family terribly, so it'll be fantastic to get back with them. But there's a great sadness I'm finding. I don't want it to end. I am more ready for each day now than I was at the beginning. All I can say is more, please.
Yeah.
And I would say probably one last observation that dawned on me in terms of how this style of travel is different than other travel is that normally you're looking forward to some destination to which you're traveling, either that day or that week or the end of your trip. Here we obviously don't. It's more about the path than it is the destination. In fact, now that we are reaching the destination, it's not with joy but with sadness.
Yes.
The destination is not something to be pursued, it's something to be avoided. And so that to me is a sadness. It reminds me of the time I took a 100-mile canoe trip up in Quetico Provincial Park in Canada. Had a fantastic time there. It's a restricted area. It's kind of a lottery system, so you see hardly anybody up there. Totally remote. They don't even let airplanes fly over it. So tremendous immersion into nature. And the last day as we were coming out, we were getting back to the Boundary Waters area of northern Minnesota. And we knew we were going to be getting back to where there's boat traffic and people. And when I woke up that morning after breakfast, I felt this great sadness come over me. And that's not my nature. But I was genuinely sad. And it dawned on me that it was because we were coming out. And there's nothing more that I wanted than to just head right back into the area that we were leaving.
Right.
So this is something like that. Sam has more to give. The TAT has not been fully explored by us. We could hook back and go back towards Minnesota, Wisconsin. So maybe someday.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's even little things like, back there in that corner, hitting the brakes, feeling your back end slide around a little bit, and you're just like, I think that inner child inside of us just starts to giggle a little bit, and I think this whole trip has been filled with those moments.
So, mixed emotions, glad to get back with family. Not glad to be done, but I'm super excited. As you know, this week we're expecting a new human in our family, which is super exciting. And I've arranged, rather than traveling back with you and Penny, Jack, I'm going to jump on a plane and head over to Babyland.
Yep, and you know how we feel about that. We're super excited for you.
So that's going to be excellent salve on the wound of no more trail.
Just goes to show that about the time you think you're alone on these trails, somebody shows up.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. So we'll trade in the TAT for a visit with Paxton.
That's exactly right.
Start to get his life story.
Yep. Start to do a little bonding there.
Well, Oregon has been an absolute treat. These trails are something else.
It has been. I really enjoy
I was thinking back to your earlier comment, how that every state has a different personality, a different thing to experience, and it seems to happen very near the border. And Oregon's been the same way. It has certainly its own unique personality and characteristics, and it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, from the desert riding, or from the eastern part of Oregon to now we're in central, the mountains, a lot of trail systems. And even within the trail systems, they each are kind of a little bit different. One, you're going to have a little bit of rock, gravel. Next one, a little sand. It excited me when I heard from that group back there that we have a rocky climb ahead of us.
Yes.
I'm just filled with anticipation. Let's do it. Let's do it twice.
Hey. Another event. We'll take them all.
Yep. How's it going?
It's going great. These trails are wonderful.
They are just so peaceful. I find myself not even really thinking or doing anything, just riding them.
Agreed. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Just absolutely amazing.
What a wonderful area.
It sure is. Yeah, I'll be getting in my gas reserves, it looks like.
Yeah, we've got a ways to go. You must be coming up. Yeah, you're within 20 miles of empty, I suppose.
Probably. So, we'll make it. Beautiful.
Oh, this is... You can't take it all in.
No, you can't. Not at all.
These shaded trails have been delightful.
Yes. Well, do you want to lead for a while?
Well, it doesn't matter whether they're leading or not. I'm fine the way it is. We're separated enough. You know, it's interesting to me, while you're basically riding by yourself, having the other person on the trail text screen, it feels like you're riding with someone.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. It's interesting.
It is. Very much so, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Soaking in a little sun here.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
What's the temperature? It's 69. It feels cooler than that in the shade.
Yeah, it does. I would agree. All right. Well, we'll keep on moving down.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, cutie. I guess they're going with you, Jack. You got a guide. What if we stop if they'll settle down?
Just move over. That direction. You want to go that direction too there, little guy. Oh, no. Really? Guy, it doesn't have to be this hard. There you go. Good
Nicely
job.
done.
Good.
Nicely done.
Nicely done here, guys. A group effort. Give them applause.
Yeah, they were feeling a little spooked.
Yeah.
Poor things.
They weren't kidding when they said we're entering burned out area.
Yeah, it's pretty wiped out, isn't it?
It is.
I'm kind of surprised at having this little blacktop road up through here.
I am too.
I was expecting dirt. Where's our dirt?
No. Ask and you... No, sorry. Saw the brown shoulder and I thought, it was converting.
Got you all excited for nothing.
Yeah.
Still a fun little road. like we're going right. No, left, yeah.
Okay, you got your wish. Here it is.
Yeah, we have gravel both directions.
Ah.
I'll have to back off.
Little dusty, isn't it?
See you later. I love how that we never take a straight line to any place.
Nope. Up, here's your gravel.
Nice. Yeah, the wandering path. Makes for some good scenery.
Yeah.
So Jack, what are the top things you think are most important on your bike setup?
My bike setup?
Yeah, the things you value the most from stock, meaning anything, either a modification of the bike or an accessory. What are the top items that you think you put on your bike that you value the most, that you got the most utility out of on this trip?
So if you're saying just on the bike, I would have to say suspension, my ECU upgrade. I think that's probably about it. My luggage. I'm happy with my luggage. My tank bag gave up the ghost, but how about you?
Well, I think as regards to the bike, I think the larger tank was a wonderful thing to do. I think the ECU also was a good boost. I think it smoothed out the throttle response, and it certainly has more power. So I've appreciated that, and I suspect it's running cooler because we're moving more air through that pipe. I think the other thing on the bike that came to really appreciate is the trail tech.
Absolutely.
That's a very integral piece of the bike now, and we depend on it moment by moment.
Yep. For multiple things.
Yeah.
Not only just guidance, but checking in on each other. You know, I'm using it for temperature for my bike because my bike doesn't have a temperature gauge. Yeah, that's...
I think elevation we use quite a bit. It's interesting to know the ambient temperature. It's all there.
Yep. Yeah, so I would have to say the most important thing to be able to run this trip on my bike is the trail tech. Because I could have done it with soft suspension, it would have killed me. I could have done it with less power, that's fine. I think the GPS guidance, that's a necessity.
Yeah, super helpful. It's the way to go. Now, in terms of what I left behind, I don't mind that I left the roll charts behind. I think that would have been a real time-consuming element to try to navigate with roll charts.
Yep, agree.
And I didn't really have the space to pack them, so that was a good thing to leave behind. I think the tires were super important. I think they've proven out to really do a tremendously good job on all the trail conditions we had, except for the mud that you went through, Jack. Nothing could help that.
I don't think they designed a tire for that. And I would agree. I would really be hard pressed. Somebody would have to do one heck of a sales job on me to convince me to go with a different set of tires on this.
Yeah, so certainly there probably are other good tires, but these have treated us so nice. Why wouldn't you stay with it, right? Is that our road?
That's our trail.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's our road.
And it is interesting how we're getting better mileage here in the west than we did in the east. Probably attributed to the fact that we're on dirt much more here than we were there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a right and a second right. I think this is good.
I think Sam's going to have to do a pretty good job of getting us some fuel here pretty soon.
Now, what did you have with you that you wish you didn't? Or anything you have along that either you didn't need or would rather not have?
My dishes, well, we used them a couple of times. So, and that really doesn't take up much space. Things that I brought with that I have used everything that I brought with at one time or another. So, my cold weather gear, I've actually been using that more for sleeping at night. So, for cold. If anything, I would have changed out my sleeping bag for one that might be just a little bit warmer. But then you also run the risk of size.
Yeah, that's the trade-off.
So everything is a give and take. So overall, I think everything I've used has worked as expected. Air mattress is wonderful. My pillow is starting to fail a little bit, but it's still holding in there. You know, it's important to get a good night rest.
I think the tents have performed very well.
I agree. They're Alps Mountain or whatever. I think they're Alps Mountain or Mountain Alps.
Yeah, Alps Mountaineer, yep.
Yeah, I would recommend them to anybody. Try not to spit dirt at you, sorry.
Yeah, it's alright.
So I would have to say we've done enough research that I don't know if there's really much I would say failed me on this trip at all.
Yeah. I've been really happy with my luggage, super happy. Also very happy with the riding pants I have on. I was torn about doing that, didn't want to spend the money on them, but so happy I did. That was really a great purchase. Very happy about that.
Yep. That's the one thing I would change, my riding pants. I like my riding pants, very comfortable, but no pockets. You gotta have a pocket.
Yeah. I was afraid the pants I bought would be a little warm in the warm weather that we experienced. It ended up not being a problem at all. I never had a thought that anything below the waist was too warm as we were riding. Now, Jack, I've heard you mention, though, that you wished you could have done a bigger tank.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be the very first thing that I change when I get back home and I start tearing into this, cleaning it up, and getting it ready. It will have the Acerbis 3.6 gallon tank. At the time, I didn't have a choice. It came out just prior to us leaving, so at that point in time, we were pretty well committed. The giant loop fuel bladder that I have with has done well, but it is a fuel bladder, and if you don't tighten up everything real well, it will leak. It's kind of cumbersome, but of all the fuel bladders out there, this one does work really well. Came with its own spigot. It has a little dust cover that goes over the spigot, so when you put it away and when you pull it out, it's not covered in dust and that you put in the gas tank. So it served its purpose, and it's got tons of loop to be able to help attach it to the bike.
Oh, is that right? You just peeled down, huh?
Yep. You have to hit your brakes. You know, you got to kind of be on your brakes a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, it was great. You got great mileage coming down that.